This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount.
Iowa Technology Systems delivers professional IT services. From company networks to home computers, we keep you connected with reliable service you can trust. Enterprise IT services, quality computers, and local IT support. All designed to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit www.iowatechsys.com to see how our services can help you.
Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. It's Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, and I'm back at the Henry County Courthouse here in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, where the Board of Supervisors held their weekly meeting. Pay attention to the Pledge of Allegiance. A very patriotic young lady named Brinley leads us. Now, on the agenda, approval of minutes, County Engineer Jake Hotchkiss Weekly update, possible action regarding Oakland Mills Preservation Walk Bridge, SEIRPC Sara Hecox, approval of resolution number 35-2025 Henry County support, the Great River Housing Trust Fund, Supervisors subcommittees, and of course, public comment. County Auditor Robin Dietrich didn't stick around for public comment, so hopefully she'll watch this.
We all rise, but we are going to be led by Brinley. She came here to definitely say the pledge with. So Brinley, will you take the honor and lead us the pledge, please? Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting of the Henry County Board of Supervisors on this December 23rd, 2025 into session. First thing is to approve our agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. We have the minutes of December 18th, 2025 that have been presented to us prior. A motion to approve them. We have a motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Jake, you are up, please.
Okay. I really don't have too much today. I've got two permits. The first one's a right-of-way tile crossing on a dirt road. Jared's worked that out, so we are good to go with that one. Again, it's crossing, dealing with two landowners, and both are agreeable to the work that's being done. And then the next one is Access Energy, just a permit here. They're actually going to remove poles on Fremont while we're doing our culvert construction, and then they'll replace them. So this here is just a permit to let me know what their plan is. So again, we're working together. Maintenance update. The big task for us for the end of last week and this week is brush. We've been working on sending crews out to work on various locations. We were in Trenton area, clipping some of the trees that are overhanging from the park side of it, and then doing some other just random locations that we've had for work orders that we get throughout the year, and we'll continue working on that. So right now we've got our grade all's got a limb shear on it, so we can reach up a little bit higher up safely. They can clip that off. Cleanly is ideally, it doesn't always work perfect, but that's the idea behind this. We aren't hurting the trees, but anything that's kind of overhanging, that's hitting equipment, so they've been working on that. Territory operators have been spot hauling to themselves and working on blading, just kind of moving material around. We've been fortunate that we're getting them out here, and you know, ideally the best situation is when it freezes at night that we kind of get things stiffened back up. But the snow is melting away and the windrow is getting down. They'll be working on moving that rock around. So, you know, there are going to be still some sloppy days yet as that stuff's melting, but overall things are looking pretty good on the gravel roads. Pavement's always in good shape too. So. Miscellaneous, Pete did signs. Right now this is that time where we're starting to actually swap out bad signs. So it's not so much on repairs, but they'll start ramping up. Him and another guy will go around and start replacing worn out signs that don't have the reflectivity that we need or required to have. So that's kind of just an ongoing task as we're fitting into other things. Miscellaneous construction, 235th Street Bridge. The bridge deck is mostly removed at this point, so I did send a picture if you wanted to pop that up, if people wanted to see what it looks like. It's kind of, you don't see a bridge without the deck on it very often. And they should be wrapping up the concrete. They only had probably around 20 feet on the west end to remove. And then they're going to be moving another crane in to work on removing the old beams off of that, and then they'll be working on bringing the piers down. So a lot of, you know, demolition's always kind of fun to see that process go through. And if you live out in that area, you've probably been woken up every morning with that sound with the breaker that they're using. So everything goes down. They will use all the broken concrete for their crossing that they need to put in, and then all the old concrete will actually be used for some stabilization that we have underneath there with some of the slope stability out there. So we call it a rock trench. And so we are able to recycle a lot of that material, and they recapture the rebar, pull that in, and that is scrap and stuff that they take care of. So just kind of an update to give it. I think it's kind of a cool picture just to see what it looks like, and it's there. So
Do you know how far it is from the bridge deck to the creek?
roughly it's around 60 feet. So from that point, yeah, it's one of the higher structures that we've had to deal with. That 60 might actually be the bottom of the footing of the new one, but yeah, it's a long ways. So yep. It'll be pretty interesting when they get going. So the big thing next will be when they pull those piers down. That would be kind of a unique thing to watch as they do that as well. So we're trying to keep Walt involved. He's supposed to be doing some flyovers with the drone to try to, hopefully at the end we can put a little thing together to show what it progressed on. So cool. Okay, the next item I have is dust control fees. Oh, yeah, if I have another thing I'll add at the end there, I forgot to add it, but dust control fees. So you guys asked like, how many applications did we have over the last year? We were able to keep the number of applications, but the late fee, we did not keep track of that number at the time. To our best recollection, we had around 3 applications that were late. So when we're talking about the first year with that fee of $25, roughly it brought in $7,150 to the road department for our time that we used to go around and add rock, to blade, work up dust controls, those extra time. So my recommendation, or what I think at this point, with the fact that we only had roughly 3 applications, I think the $25 late fee would be sufficient for another year. If you guys want to do something different, I'm okay with it. I think our messaging that we got out there with the vendors and the letters that we sent out, for the most part, I think it's working well right now. So that would be kind of your guys' call on that, how you want to move forward. And if you want to, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't think it's been a big issue. It went over pretty well for the first year.
Any discussion on this?
We only had 3, you said?
Approximately 3. This next year we'll actually keep track of that. I guess it got away from us, but we do know that we had 286 dust control applications that were put in. Some of those might be like a dual application where it's a continuous, but there was 286 separate applications that came in. So quite a few dust controls that we put out.
A lot, yeah. I'm inclined to say raise it, just for the simple fact that it's a late fee.
Ted?
3, that's gonna bring us what, 75 additional dollars? Is that worth,
Yeah, I think what you're probably getting at, I'm just putting words in your mouth here a little bit, but it's more.
Jump right in there.
The hassle of having to go back and deal with those extra ones. One of them was they just moved into the area, so it, wasn't on them necessarily. The other was just, I didn't know about it or something like that. So, again, I don't, it's not a big issue to me either way. I think the $25 does put a little skin in the game. We are getting, some of our time back that we have, but, yeah.
Even from a management standpoint, administrative side, $25 doesn't pay too much, doesn't pay for Michaela's salary here, so, that's my perspective is, we've already given them a grace period for 1 year. They knew there was a penalty. So we should increase that so we can increase the regular applications and keep people aware. I'd like to see 0 late fees.
Okay.
yeah.
So, the way we look at it now, it's $50 if they're going to have it done with the late fee.
Correct.
I'm inclined to go along with Steve. I'd like to see maybe another another 25 to make it a $50 fee.
$50 late fee?
That's where I'm at.
Because I agree with Steve, with the management part of it and taking that grader. You might have to do 10 miles one way just to get there and then do that project.
Okay.
And,
I agree.
And to me, this isn't really a motion side of it, unless you guys wanna do one, but it was more of guidelines for me to put out when we go out to send those letters out, so if you guys wanna go with $50, I'm good with that.
I'm happy with 50. I think that's a better fee and gets people's attention so they know that they need to get on it and get with it.
Okay.
And it covers our fees as well.
Alright, we'll work on that. So again, the normal application fee is the same, the $25. If you are after the date that we have set, which would be the April 15th, then it would be $75 for you to apply that dust control. So again, we will get that information out to the vendors, so when they send their letters out, and then we put it on the website, so we try to really advertise it. Last year, we sent letters to the individuals that did self-applied. Again, we typically do some follow-up letters and stuff like that, so double check on how to get that communicated.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And that will, actually, when we send that, just to be clear, when we actually go to set the dates, I bring a motion to you guys to set the dates for the next year. That's when we do it. So it might be a couple weeks out here yet, so. Okay, budget presentation, we got that figured out last week. Just a reminder that we're gonna come on the 20th, and I'm assuming 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Should have asked that last week, okay. And then, another update, we had a pre-construction meeting for 2 of those box culverts. The one was on Fremont, and the other one was up on Lexington. They're saying mid-January, but they didn't have a date, so I would tell you that really tells me it really depends on the weather. If things stay mild, we're probably looking at mid-January. The first one that they wanna work on is the one on Fremont. So that would be roughly what we're anticipating. We haven't done any notices out to the public yet because we really don't have a date yet, but that was the big message that came out. So the idea would be is build the box culvert on Fremont first, then they would move up to Lexington and work on that one. And again, like any construction project, that's subject to their schedule changes, but that's kind of where we're at right now. So they're pretty simple projects, so they should move relatively quick, so.
Okay, good, thanks.
And then the last thing I had is, with the holidays here, just to kind of give you an update of what we got going on with our office this week. So we will be closed on the 25th. We will have a very light crew tomorrow. Basically just a few people working on the 24th for the full day. And then on the 26th, we'll have a very small crew again. So most of the guys are taking vacation or comp during that time. And that's, assuming that's all the same as that we've always done it, so. Unless you guys have anything else to change on that or update me on, so. That's all I have.
I just one question for you. Have we heard anything on the RISE grant over there on Goodyear Road?
No, I talked to Zach after the meeting a little bit the other day, and
Yeah.
so they're working on putting it together. I think the timeline right now is to try to get this thing pushed out in January at this point. So we should have another meeting, obviously with some that should happen about Pleasant. There are some decisions that might have to be made of. They were originally gonna be the lead applicant on that. We may have to look at that and say whether or not we wanna be the lead applicant as they're going through their.
In the short term?
Yeah, in the short term, to figure out. There are still things, like if they were the lead applicant, we were gonna use Southeast Iowa Regional Planning for some of that administration side of it. I think just with some of the workload we've got with construction projects, I still think that might be to allow them to help us out with that paper process and then kind of work together on that. So I don't see it as a big issue other than there's a decision has to be made at some point.
Okay, all right, let us know how that progresses or not, and we can work
Yep.
with you. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, that's all I got.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is possible action regarding the Oakland Mills preservation of the walk bridge. Caleb, I know you're here, and would you like to give us an insight as far as the conservation department, conservation board, and things that have happened in the past, please?
Yeah, so in regards to the footbridge, I know I've been in here to discuss that in the past. So I sent you guys, or Steve at least,
Yes, sure that, yeah.
the meeting minutes from, I'm just gonna kind of go back a little bit. So November 8th of 2023, so the Conservation Board had Calhoun Burns engineering firm out of Des Moines inspect the bridge. Upon that report, we found that the bridge needed some serious TLC. So they gave us some cost estimates on how to fix that. Unfortunately, those cost estimates were more so reflected on restoring it back to its original historical state. So the Conservation Board, my staff and I agreed, that's not really a concern of ours. We just want to get it open back up to, the public. Make it so it's safe enough to get it open back up. So, like I said, on November 8th of 2023, the Conservation Board made a motion in order to determine the fate of the bridge. It was outside the scope of the Conservation Department and the board. So the Conservation Board agreed to turn it over to you guys with the suggestion of forming a committee to discuss the next steps. So with that being said, in that time, Steve Davis and a group of concerned citizens have formed Preserve Oakland Mills with kind of the special interest of trying to get that bridge open back up. So it's been kind of a partnership, I would say, between the two. Steve and the group has been really good with working with myself as well as the Conservation Board. So the biggest thing is, trying to find contractors that are interested to take on this project. So more or less, and Steve, you can talk about it if you'd like, majority, like Iowa Bridge and Culvert, for example, they need an engineered design before they can give, a bid or an estimate to fix what needs to be fixed. So the Kirkman Michael, they are interested in working with the group to get that design for us so we can then get a contractor to get a more accurate cost estimate. So I guess I'll turn it over to you because you've been kind of spearheading that project. But like I said, Preserve Oakland Mills is a group that's been formed. They have their own 501c3 status, and they've been kind of running with it and keeping the board and myself up to speed on what's going on. But to date, you guys have received quite a few grants here within the community. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of turn it over to you, and you can.
Yeah, just to kind of follow up on Caleb's comments, we formed last year in October and started our fundraising and grant writing efforts this year. We felt that the estimates from the original report were probably overstated because they were talking about replacing all the trusses on the bridge and maybe doing a historical preservation, which is really kind of inflating the cost. We knew that the north end of the bridge, where there was some damage back in the late 40s, early 50s, those pony trusses were taken down. That's where those wooden pylons were put in place in order to kind of maintain the structural integrity. And those have really degraded over the years with the flooding and other things, just the weather in general. So That's why we've probably reached out to 5 or 6 different engineering firms over the summer. Kirk and Michael is a group that has been working with Van Buren County on their bridge down in Bentonsport. So that's how we picked up that name. And they're more willing to come down. They gave us a cost estimate on a contract to come down and reassess the bridge, understanding what the scope of work is, what we want to look at doing. We want to really address that north end. We want to get it safe and operational and open back up to the public. But if you read through the contract, it also states in there that they're going to put together a 20-year plan for us. So that was our intention too. If we're going to spend the money to do this, we want to do it right. We don't want to just have short-term gains. We want to have a long-term goal of maintaining the bridge. And so we have set that contract up. We have it between Preserve Oakland Mills and Kirk and Michael, so we're responsible for the cost. It looks, to me, we've had Caleb and Tony Brown review it. We didn't necessarily get to the point where we had a vote on the engineer's report. We had a discussion on it last November, but we didn't get to a meeting, I guess, this past December to have any type of a vote from the Conservation Department. So that's why we're coming to, the supervisors meeting to see if we can, be allowed the access. We just want to essentially make everybody aware of what our intentions are, make sure there's no concerns. We feel like we can execute the contract between Kirk and Michael and have that financial responsibility and take that burden off the public and the county, and go ahead and get them to come out next year. If we can get the contract hopefully signed here by the end of the year, we'll get on their schedule for 2026 and be able to go ahead and really understand what it's going to take to get the bridge back open for folks.
With that, my understanding, this is a completely independent group, has nothing to do with Friends of Conservation, and you're just looking for our approval to have them look at it. In talking with our legal counsel, they had no problem with this happening if we get a letter saying the county cannot be harmed in any way, held harmless type agreement in writing, and saying that they cannot come back against the county in any way, in anything that they do while they're working there. So that's a concern.
We can go ahead and reach out to them to see if we can get that addressed separately. There is a hold harmless section under item number 6, insurance. There is a hold harmless, that's item number 12. But that in particular, I believe, states us as the owner, because the contract is between Preserve Oakland Mills and Kirk and Michael. If you want us to get them to change that language on that particular section.
You don't have to change the language, just a separate letter.
Separate letter. Okay. Okay.
So,
Yep.
but I want the understanding there will be no county money involved in this at this time.
And you really want the hold harmless to basically state that the county is not responsible.
The county, yes. The
Not
county.
liable in any way.
Yeah, the county
County
is
is-
liable in any way.
Is that something I should work with Steve on to have us draft that? So it meets, our recommendations, and what's your thoughts on that, I guess? I guess I can talk to Steve after the meeting and just see.
Yeah, if you wanna take the lead, just to make sure we're covered.
Yeah.
I actually
Move
talked
forward,
to-
otherwise
I
it might
talked
take a
to
little
Blake.
while.
Yeah, excuse me, I talked to Blake yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, who I
Okay,
talked to.
okay, alright, I can talk to Blake,
Mhm.
yeah, and see what their thoughts on how to word that, I guess. Cause I just kinda feel that it should maybe come from him, or at least give some direction on what that needs to.
Well, and we can reach out to Kirk and Michael also and let them know what we're looking for. I'm sure, with the contracts that they've set up in the past, they maybe have kind of come across this in some way, shape, or form. And, they can start working on it on their end also, to see what they can come up with. I'd like to go ahead and, try to expedite this as much as possible. We do wanna try to get on their schedule for 2026. We had funding available to go ahead and execute the contract. So, it'd be nice to go ahead and try to move this forward if at all possible. So are we at the point where is the board okay with pursuing this as long as we have that addendum then is what we're stating, correct?
I was saying, as long as we have that addendum and it's been approved by our county attorney.
Okay.
And you other two agree with that?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
With the understanding, of course, that you're gonna support that financially.
Correct.
Then once the work might be done, let's say move forward, work is done, the county conservation then would be responsible for the upkeep and maintenance through that 20-year plan. Is that?
Yeah, and that's something I guess we haven't really discussed, but I just feel, same thing goes with the dam. Regarding the department that oversees or maintains it, it's still owned by the county. So, my concern on behalf of the conservation board and department is, liability. So we, before the meeting, we were kind of talking about just the degradation of the dam, so since I've been here, it hasn't been inspected. I know I've met with the DNR to look at the dam, but same with the bridge, I feel that we need to get on some sort of schedule to have it inspected annually, which might be a lot, or every 2 to 3 years, just so, we don't want anything to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm
just
in agreement with that, but I think we need to come to an understanding of who would be maintaining this
Responsible,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, it'd be a shame to spend X $1,000 for the study, then to go ahead and get the work done if nobody's maintaining it.
yeah.
And I don't think your group is able to maintain it, do the everyday maintenance type thing, or not everyday, but the ongoing maintenance through that duration. Who is doing that? Is that the county conservation? I mean,
So how often does secondary roads have their bridges inspected?
Good question. It depends on the age of the bridge, the type of structure, if they're fracture critical or not, and this bridge, parts of that would be fracture critical. I would anticipate that they would probably recommend a yearly review of that. I don't wanna speak on that. I do know the Calhoun Burns who we use for ours, Kirkham Michael is a great company as well. Whoever it is, I think you need to go into it saying that it is gonna be an annual or every other, but I'd be surprised if it's not an annual inspection that we wanna, or that you guys would wanna look at doing, so.
is that annual inspection, is that $20,000 or $50,000 or $100,000? I don't know, so I mean.
I think all that stuff would, just to interject a little bit, I think once you get this initial one done, I think you'll find out a lot more from their recommendations of, okay, here's what this looks like, and you can add that to a scope of stuff that at least lets you know, kind of anticipating what that cost is. And numbers do matter. If it's a special trip down for one bridge, it's gonna cost more than if you're doing a bunch of bridges, so there are those factors that go on, so.
I mean, obviously, it would be an asset to the community, the Oakland Mills community, to have that bridge open for foot traffic back and forth.
Anything else that we need to discuss on this?
So we're,
Want to bring back paperwork and
Very good.
taken care of?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Caleb, for the explanation.
Next on our agenda is Sara Hecox, and I know she's here.
I think
saw
she's
her
behind you, Jake.
behind you, Jake, or somewhere out there.
For those of you who don't know Sara, she's with the Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Group, and she is going to talk to us today about the Great River Housing Trust Fund.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just,
Good.
Morning.
morning. Do you want your own copies?
I'm fine.
You're fine?
Because I've got like 5 of them now.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay.
But if
Oh,
these
you-
guys do, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No? Okay.
So, I was just here, I come visit with you guys every year, just kind of give you an update on what we're doing with the Housing Trust Fund. It was established in 2011, and since that time, we have brought in a little, almost 6.5 million between Iowa Finance Authority and our local match. And then we're also able to use those funds to leverage other grants to put us a little over $9 million that we've received for housing projects in Southeast Iowa.
Can I copy that, Sarah?
Yeah.
Got somebody back there that wants one. Thank you.
So for our 2026 grants, we applied for $477,757 from the Iowa Finance Authority. We are required to have a local match, a 25% local match, so that brings us a little over 119,000. So then that total grant would be a little shy of $600,000. We are requesting $12,500 from Henry County. It's the same that we asked for last year to help meet us of our 25% goal. Our Housing Trust Fund has a couple different funding opportunities. We started out with just our down payment assistance and owner-occupied rehab. Since 2011, we've added an upper story conversion for rental units, and then development and special project financing are the two newest ones we've added. So for the down payment, an individual can receive $7,500. This can be used for down payment, closing costs, or a combination of the two. It is a deferred loan, so they do pay this back, and it's at 0% interest, so that whenever the house would sell, the money comes back to the trust fund, and then we would loan it out to another homeowner.
That's kind of the key though, right there, is the payment is not due until it's
Yes.
after
Yep.
it's sold, correct?
Yep. It helps a lot of individuals who don't have the ability to save up for that down payment to help get into a home. Home rehab continues to be popular. We get a lot of requests for roofs, windows lately. The individual, we've kind of set it at 15,000. Sometimes we exceed that depending on the project. Just with construction costs, everything's getting more expensive. So this is a 5-year forgivable loan, so as long as the homeowner continues to live there 5 years, it's prorated at 20% each year. We like to focus on exterior items, so we see a lot of roof, windows, and siding. In the winter, we get a lot of calls for furnaces, hot water heaters. Project that we did at 307 North Jackson in Mount Pleasant, this homeowner received a new roof. Just a couple before after pictures on the slides. Project at 717 North Lincoln in Mount Pleasant, we had an elderly lady who had trouble getting into her tub, so we did a walk-in shower for her. 210 North Olive Street in Winfield. Two sisters live in this house. They received new windows and a furnace. A couple of pictures of the windows and the furnace. And then with our upper story conversion, this project started out, we had the awards at 25,000, and over the years felt that needed to be increased to 40. So developers can receive 40,000 a unit in assistance. We do a maximum of 4 units, so 160,000. This is a dollar for dollar match. So for that, if a person received funds for 4 units, then it would have to be at least a $320,000 project. These have to remain affordable for 5 years. And to rent to tenants at low to moderate income.
Low to moderate is based on a county to county basis?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think they're all the today. I have the table in the back for you guys, to look at. I guess Louisa County is a little bit different than the other three. So, we funded a project 201 South Jefferson in Mount Pleasant. These units turned out really nice. Two units were created, so this developer did receive the $80,000, and then, put a new windows in the unit, and then they have to remain affordable for 5 years.
On these projects that have the windows, furnaces, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
is that in conjunction with our, Southeast Iowa Community Action at all in the projects that they do? Or they talk to each other at all, or what?
Yep, we've done a couple projects, or they usually will do what they can and then they tell them to call us.
Okay.
So we trade a lot of names, share each other's phone numbers, so we do, we work with Community Action a lot. They can't do, I think they can only do like a new layer of shingles, so they don't do the tear off. So once you get to the third layer, then they will send them to us, cause we'll do the tear off. So for our development assistance, it depends if the individual or if the developer is for profit or non-profit. So the assistance would vary from 25,000 to 40. This is for new construction. We like to do infill lots. We realize there's some risk for developers when maybe being in a neighborhood where their other property values don't support the new construction, so we like to help take part of that risk away from the developers with the assistance. So the units can be rented or sold. It is, again, that 5-year affordability period, and income guidelines would apply to this as well. So we like to partner in Henry County with Habitat. They apply pretty much, I think, every year for the current house that they have building. So they finished the one at 400 East Henry. They received $25,000 in assistance. This was for a single mother with 3 children. Had a 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and then the lot was donated to them. They have another one that we just funded. That one is at 312 East Vernon Street, and they've poured the footings. So they will get, once the volunteers get those lined up, they will get the construction going on that project as well. So the newest one, we have special financing projects. So this one, we work with bigger projects. Maybe the developer is receiving a community development block grant. They may receive tax credits, and then they need some extra, there's kind of a gap financing, so we will step in and give them what they need. We can be flexible with the payment terms if they need to pay when the project's done, low interest. So the current one that we have awarded in Henry County would be Hershey Hall. They received a low interest loan for $250,000. So that's the project that we have in Henry County.
Do you know what the schedule is on that on the Hershey's Hall?
For construction?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the midst of it.
I'd have to talk to Mike about that.
Okay.
I know he's been in contact with Chris.
Right.
So all of the projects we have seem to fall into different income guidelines. So the kind of a breakdown of if an individual is applying for down payment, they would be the third set of income guidelines. We are required by the Iowa Finance Authority to spend 30% of the grant each year towards extremely low income. So that is that second set of income guidelines, and we usually use those for rehab. We see a lot of elderly individuals kind of at those income levels. So, if somebody wanted to purchase one of the new construction homes, that would be like the bottom set of income guidelines. So depending what program, that's gonna determine what income guidelines they're at. We have a great board of directors, have a nice representation over the, 4 counties, there's a list of them there. Nice variety of individuals. We just meet as needed. These are state funds, so if you see a project in the community, Henry County, that you have, you're starting to see needs, you can always talk to one of your board members or, staff at the planning commission, and we could always look at, doing a project, in Henry County, or, adding a new program or something like that. There's my, email address, my, phone number, our website. If you guys have questions, like I said, if you have an idea for a housing project, you can let us know, let Steve know. We can bring it to the board and, discuss other opportunities.
Yeah, so the reason
Questions?
for Sara being here today is really twofold. Obviously, she's asking us for money, but the other part of that is really to help you guys understand where we're at with the programs and what we can do to help, not just Mount Pleasant, but Henry County wide. So there are some needs out there in some of our smaller communities that we probably are not as aware of as we should be, that we could maybe do a better job of fulfilling those needs in some of those low-income areas, maybe Salem, Hillsborough, some of those smaller, Trenton, some of those smaller communities that probably need a little more assistance as well. So we just need to make sure that those folks are totally aware of the opportunities available to them.
And one of our individuals on staff, will email like city clerks every once in a while, so, we do try to get the word out, and then it seems like sometimes the, local city staff know the needs of their individuals, so we'll get names that way as well. USDA rural development sometimes will send us individuals, so.
Good cross-section.
We have before us a resolution, and I'll read that resolution. Resolution number 35-2025, a resolution authorizing Henry County to financially support the Great River Housing Trust Fund for the fiscal year 2027. Whereas the Henry County is duly recognized as a governing body acting under the law of the state of Iowa, and whereas that said Henry County, in assisting this regional development activity, will sustain the viability of housing programs for the entire region. And whereas the Henry County is a member of the Great River Housing Trust Fund, a regional housing nonprofit corporation that assists low and moderate income households in the region. And whereas Henry County residents and businesses have benefited economically through sustained taxes and supply purchasing through the Henry County, through the Great River Housing Trust Fund programs. Now there be resolved that the members of the Henry County Board of Supervisors at Henry County will contribute $12,500 cash match to the Great River Housing Trust Fund in the year 2027, thus benefiting low to moderate income households in the county and region. So, have a motion for this resolution.
I make a motion for resolution 33 or 2025.
35.
35, yeah.
35.
2025.
Is there a second?
Question
You have a second, then?
Yes.
We have a second. Now, discussion, questions? Chad, you have one?
Yeah, I have a second here. Like, on the 400 East Henry, those homes and everything, is there any requirements for those people to maintain work and to have some ownership of it rather than just take how does that all work?
For with the habitat?
Yeah, utilize $25,000 in development funds, here this family got that. I mean, the lots donated, is that in their name? Is there any ability, I mean, if they just totally don't act as a responsible individual on that property, is there any recourse to do that? I
So
mean,
those funds would go to Habitat. No,
That has requirements.
there's requirements.
those funds, don't really go to the homeowner, they go towards Habitat
Okay.
in their
But
ability.
Katie, do you know?
Yeah, I mean, they have a loan that they have to pay, and that's all worked out through Habitat.
So, I mean, if they just walk away, I mean,
They
if the
can't do
person
that.
just doesn't,
Yeah.
good.
And we do put a deed restriction on that, I mean, it would only be for 5 years, but we do put a deed restriction on for the, funds, in case they would walk away, then the trust fund would give back their assistance.
Also, that kind of ties into that, Chad, so one of the things that we look at when we do these is where those houses are within the community. Part of the effort here is to upgrade some of those older houses so they're more desirable to live in. It helps build equity
Helps
for
that
the other
community.
homes around the area rather than let them degrade
Right.
because of a bad location or a bad home. So that hopefully helps to build that as well. So there's some requirements tied to that as well.
Any other questions?
You said the match, is it 5-1?
Is what,
What our donation
oh, for,
for the $12,500
uh-huh,
from a federal grant standpoint, from a matching aspect? How many federal dollars, government
Oh,
dollars?
4 to
we get?
1,
4 to
yeah.
1, okay, so, okay. So it's a good match.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Lindy,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you, we appreciate your continued support.
Thanks, sir.
You need a copy of this, and Sarah?
I get email it to
Okay,
you when
perfect,
you get it.
yes,
Okay.
that's perfect,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
You too.
Okay. Next is, subcommittee reports. Any subcommittees? Yeah.
No, not this week.
I
He's
did,
off for
yes.
Christmas.
Had a subcommittee in Fairfield, with the, Area Crime Commission, went over the, kind of the end of calendar year issues, concerns, things like that. Always, this time of year, salaries and wages and things like that are always asked for. This year, the board as a whole voted for a 3% raise for their staff people. Then the audits, the Anderson, Larkin and Company audits have been done on that. Here's that information if you guys wanna look at that. Then the same thing with the juvenile detention. Juvenile detention down in Montrose, talked about building needs, their food service. Right now, they are kind of in limbo, the jail and the foods, they're working an agreement out while they do a remodel. The juvenile detention paid some funds for the commercial kitchen for the jail to replace a dishwasher type thing, and they're in the process of that, so it's kind of a work through that issue. But they said they have a big problem with cameras, they have a problem with control doors, and they have, as we, the same company, I think, that the jail had used on control panels and everything like that, they're finding out that is very expensive to replace and repair and things like that, so they're in the process of getting some bids put in place so we can get that, because obviously in an emergency you gotta have an operable door. Same thing with the cameras. If a camera's not working, it's not any good at all, so in the process of getting some bids put together for that upgrade on that safety equipment type thing, so. And they went with a 3% raise on their employees as well.
I had, 2 last week, Great River Regional Waste Authority. The main thing that we've been informed is our director will be leaving us, and we'll have to find a replacement come in March, and we are working on that. And The other meeting we had was, actually, the Great River was also to approve our transactions, our expenditures for the month. So it was a short meeting that way. Other meeting was Henry County landfill, the old Henry County landfill on Kentucky Avenue. We have an issue that we're working with on the methane gas, and the engineering firm is being proactive and with the landowner, and we are getting that taken care of. So that was that.
One thing I did want to put a plug in for here is that on the screen, I have this pulled up, but we have several commissions and boards that are due by the end of this year. So if you know people that are interested, we're going to cut those off and make some decisions by next Tuesday, hopefully. So if you know somebody that is considering or thinking about that, please make sure they contact us like right away so that we can evaluate those and get some appointments made.
Right. So we will be meeting next Tuesday, and the emphasis of our meeting will be working on committees for next year. So, subcommittees, anybody? Public comment. Leland,
I will.
okay.
Okay, so last Friday I found in the Hawkeye that Casey Conrad joined Team Robin. And if you remember Casey, she's the organizer of the local Antifa chapter that assembles in front of the courthouse on Sunday afternoons to exercise their First Amendment rights. She ran for mayor of Mount Pleasant last fall, and she's the loser. Okay, both Casey and Robin write in their letters in the Hawkeye that the auditor is not subordinate to the Board of Supervisors. Both try to threaten me about my public comments. They want to be the speech police. Casey even quotes Iowa Code 708.7 and 718.4. So I asked you, does the auditor provide her own insurance, or is she covered by the county's insurance? ICAP. Okay, I mentioned this incident last year, but now that we have a new supervisor and a new auditor, I think it's worth reviewing. August the 20th, 2024, Surprise, Arizona, at a city council meeting, Rebecca Massey, 32, publicly complained about the city attorney. City Mayor Skip Hall repeatedly interrupted her, saying she was violating a new policy that banned complaints of city employees. He ordered police officer Steven Sherdikoff to arrest and remove her and charged her with trespass. FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, heard of her arrest and took up her case. Maricopa County Justice Gerald A. Williams dismissed the charges against her and wrote, "No branch of any federal, state, or local government should ever attempt to control the content of political speech." Rebecca's counsel, Connor Fitzpatrick from FIRE, said, "We want to be crystal clear to governments across the United States that censoring people and betraying the First Amendment comes with a cost." Another frequent speaker there, Quintus Schulte, joined Massey in the lawsuit that names Mayor Skip Hall and police officer Steven Sherdikoff as defendants. FIRE's representing both of them pro bono. The lawsuit is not yet settled. As for the public record of that nasty, malicious letter that Auditor Robin Dietrich holds in her office, it's defamation and it's libel. Some have told me that she probably wrote it because that's the way she talks. Others have said the first part is not her writing. She's not that articulate. I would not unfairly accuse her. That's why I offered $100 for proof of who wrote it. Maybe Casey wrote it. I don't know. She's articulate. Maybe a farmer has signed your friend in the field. I just don't know. Miss Dietrich knows who wrote it, and I would give her the $100 if she reveals who wrote it and sent it to the Henry County Auditor at the Henry County Courthouse and a copy to myself. What would you guys do if you had that letter at your office or you got it at your home and it was about you? Anyhow, I'm still putting my case on hold so you can deal with Deputy Lopez getting his attorney fees paid. That's all.
Anybody else? Melanie?
I'm not sure where you all are in your decision on reimbursing Deputy Lopez. One thing that came to mind last week when it was brought up about the outside counsel being consulted is the county has the availability of 300 minutes, I believe, through ICAP as free attorney fees. I got to thinking, wouldn't it have been nice if Deputy Lopez had that same opportunity to have free counsel to help him in his battle against a county employee or an elected official? So I think that's something to consider as well. And then I don't know if you plan to make a decision soon, but no matter what your decision is, I think that as a county, we owe it to Deputy Lopez to do that soon so that he can move on with whatever his next steps are. Thank you for the commissions and boards. I hope that we have lots of applicants so that we can fill those spots. Thank you.
Pfeiffer Sawmill, your local home for kiln-dried lumber and affordable trailer decking to your specifications, all in Rome, Iowa, serving Mount Pleasant and all surrounding areas. Do you like to throw a hatchet? They've got your board. Call Ben today at 319-931-4544.
Anybody else? Donna?
I'm sorry, Leland, I don't want to go to war with you, but I question whether there is an Antifa organization, and even if there is, I know that Casey is not organizing it. That's all.
Okay, hang on just a second. Casey's husband holds up that big sign out there, says, "I am Antifa." That's her husband holds that up. Go
Okay,
ahead.
excuse me, this is not a debate, this is
Yes,
public
I'm
comments.
sorry,
So,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Anybody else? Bob?
Old Abe Lincoln had a saying, the best way to defeat your enemies is to befriend them. Maybe we need a little of that here in Henry County. Enough said.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I sent a letter to the Board of Supervisors, I don't know if you got it or not, but I have additional comments on that, that I think might take more than 3 minutes, so I'm willing to talk to anyone outside the meeting if they're interested.
Anybody else? Bill?
Yeah, as far as what we just had the handout on, do the incorporated areas contribute to this also?
They do not. Yeah, it's the counties on a one-by-one basis.
Wouldn't they have just as much stake in it as the county does?
Yeah, they do. Something that we've been talking about and lots of discussion.
As far as this
Lee County, yeah.
special financing projects, Hershey Hall awarded a low-interest loan for $250,000. If I remember right, the county spent $20-some thousand in legal fees as far as taking care of the assessment on that. So really, $12,500 is not the end of the expense from the county, normally? Can you answer that?
I cannot, no.
And it's,
Sorry.
it's funded by Henry County.
But it's funded by the county to answer your
But
question.
it's
because
totally
it was-
funded by
It was a
the county.
TIF through the county, yeah.
For homes, more of the times than not, in incorporated areas.
More times than not, that is correct, yeah. But there is a new program coming out where, this is brand new, where some of this may apply to, empty farmsteads. Owners that have an empty home that sits on their property, if they wanna rehabilitate that and rent it out. So that's just coming on stream, and that'll probably be here by June of 2026, and that's through the USDA, I believe. I can get some more details on it, but that's the plan at this point, because we have a lack of housing, period, and there are lots of empty, vacant farmsteads that are out there. So the plan is to try to make as many of those usable and available as possible.
Okay.
I don't know if that totally answers your question.
Not really. But I just, without seeking legal counsel on an expense like that, which is just pretty much a annual thing in the public interest. You can go ahead and finish my sentence. I think you can.
Anybody else?
I don't know if you can answer or not, but how much is the interest rate on the low interest loan?
The interest rate typically goes, it's a combination of one or the other, okay? So you look at the interest rate, the prime today, so it'll be 1.5 points below the prime, or 4%, whichever is greater of the two. That answer your question? Okay.
Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. This person has to leave for medical reasons.
Which person?
This person.
Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now adjourned. Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
See you next Tuesday, 9 a.m.
Another episode of Podcast Excellence. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Make sure to give this episode a like, follow, and subscribe. It's free. Also, can you do me a favor and share this episode? That's how we get the podcast to grow, folks. Thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming LLC, Iowa Technology Systems, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Merry Christmas and stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.